All right, if everybody will have a seat, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing kicked off real fast. You can finish writing. I'll tell you what, afterwards I'll let you be the first one to get in line to come look. All right, hope everybody's having a good night. I was told not to start it off with how's everybody doing, because people may not answer, so hope everybody's doing good tonight. For those of y'all who may not know, I'm Jackson, or as the Facebook world and everybody else now knows me as Possum. So you get to meet him. I'll be signing autographs at the end. You're gonna have to tell me how to spell my name though, because I don't know how. So this is the second year I've been up here talking. Don't know why Zach trusts me to get up here again, but here it goes. So first time I met Zach, of course, was through softball. It was about 3 or 4 years ago, and first tournament we ever went and played. We're in Hurley, and this man wins 3 Yeti Ice Chests off of 1 ticket that he bought. So of course my initial thought of Zach is, man, this dude could fall into a can of catnip and he'd come out with a damn sirloin steak in his mouth. I know what y'all are thinking, he's not that lucky because it had to be a pretty big can of catnip. I know that. But after doing that and hanging out with him, then I finally learned that he had cancer. He never let it show, never said anything, you know, didn't ever do the woe is me or, by the way, I have cancer. As a matter of fact, the first time I learned that he had cancer, he struck out playing softball, came back to the dugout, and I was laughing, and he gave me the, oh, well, I have cancer. And I was like, I don't think that's a joke that you make. Turned out it was true though. So I think that was the second time that he'd gone through it. He got through it, everything. We kept being buddies. We'd go hunting, fishing together, and never really talked about it. Well, then the third time that it came, before we went off to Houston, you know, we had some new experimental surgery for it. And this is the point that I knew that Zach had jumped from friend straight up to the brother level. Because he called me and was telling me, you know, it's a new surgery. I don't know what's going to happen. And he asked me right then and there, you know, if it doesn't go well, I want you to be there at my funeral. I want you to speak and be a pallbearer. And, you know, my initial thought was, man, I got to do some damn push-ups if he's going to have me doing that, because I don't know if I can tote all that by myself. But like I said, at that moment I knew, you know, Zach's going to be one of those that he's not just going to, you know, have there for softball, just be a friend for a little bit and kind of hang out. 7 days a week, he's there for me, I'm there for him. We hang out, we do things other than just, you know, like I said, play softball. One of us is having a bad day, you know, that's one of the first people I think to call, talk about my day with, and go through everything. He does the same for me. He may not act like it, but when he has a rough day, he's calling Jackson. But I'm glad to be here for the second year, get it going. So let's just go ahead and raise a lot of money for these kids and help them have a better Christmas. Now, Mr. Southwest.
I ask myself every year why I trust him to get up here, and I still haven't come up with a good solution to that. I was told that I had to be on my best behavior tonight. If any of y'all do follow me on Facebook, y'all know that I don't exactly have the most filtered mouth, but that's why y'all follow. So, give y'all a little background on me and my story, because I get this all the time, and I'm still kind of getting my head wrapped around this about how I'm known. I don't say I'm famous, because I'm not, and believe me, every one of my friends reminds me daily I am not famous. I like to consider myself that I have a lot of friends. Well, I get noticed, and people always come up to me, it's happened 3 or 4 times a night, they say, Zach, I'm your biggest fan. Back in my head, I'm like, oh, to your face, I'm like, hey, that's great, good job. But in the back of my head, I'm saying, you can't be someone's fan or a fan of them unless you know them. So I'm going to give you all a little insight on my story. And yes, y'all have to listen to me because I've been in this place and they gave me a microphone. So I was playing football, University of Wyoming. Don't know why I went there, but they offered a scholarship and off my little tubby ass went right up there where it's going. I got up there, I'm trying to compete with these boys, and I don't know if y'all know anything about the Midwest, but they grow big. I'm I'm one of the tallest people here, but I was a baby on this team. And I'm doing everything I can in order to compete with these big, corn-fed, Nebraska-looking fellas. It's 7,200 foot elevation, and I can't keep up, and I don't know why. I can't figure it out. I talk to my dad every day on the phone. He said, "Are you in the gym?" I said, "I basically live there. I'm doing prayer there. I live there." I couldn't keep up, and I could not figure out why. Because I knew I was putting in the work. About 3/4 of the way through my junior season, a large tumor started to accumulate on my neck. Turns out that it was Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I had about 30, don't quote me on this, but I think they said I had about 35% of my windpipe that was still open. The rest of it was closed because of the size of the tumor on my neck. First time I had to go through chemo radiation, I was a little baby about it. I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't. I curled up in the bed, didn't do nothing. Felt sorry for myself, all my friends, Jackson, Hunter, all the Triple B boys, they were all out going to the river and fishing and stuff. I hear Zacchaeus curled up in the bed like a big blob. So I was scared. Second time I had cancer. I come back 12 months later. I was pissed because I had done my time. Because nobody's supposed to have to go through what I was going through again. I was pissed. But I learned something that second time. I learned that it was a lot easier when you're mad. Third time coming back, I was mad. I never missed a day of work that third time. I refused to. Because I made the decision that I wasn't going to let a sickness that I had no control over at all affect my life. I wasn't staying home from nothing. The apostle called me, "Hey, we're going to hit softball at 7:30. I had chemo that day. I was at practice that night. I refused to give up my life. I was on my way back from Houston after they told me for the third time that it had come back. And I'm staring out the windshield. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning. And I got that Dodge hammering down east. I'm ready to get back to Mississippi. I don't know what I was in such a damn hurry for, but I was. The lights blinded my eyes, and I've never felt more worthless in my entire life than I did at that moment. Because I was no more good to nobody. I couldn't give blood no more. I have a very rare blood type. I was helping people. I gave as much as I could. I couldn't do that no more. 3 rounds of chemo, they're like, "Yeah, we probably don't need your blood. Move on." 6'4", 286 pounds of romping, stomping romance, twisted steel, and damn sex appeal, and I can't give nobody an order. Talk about feel worthless. But once again, I was mad. That's where the slogan came from, "Never quit fighting." Because every day when you wake up, you look at that floor, you got to attack it just like you're in a fist fight. But I made up my mind. I said, I got to figure out some kind of way to be I got to help somebody. I have to contribute to someone else's life besides my own. Because right now I'm just existing. And I felt so bad for myself. And I got to thinking back. I was like, who can I help? Who in my current situation of a beat down 26-year-old can I help that's had cancer 3 times and there's nothing I can do? And I started thinking. Well, 6 months prior to that, I was out there taking radiation. I was sitting in the radiation waiting room. A little boy come by. I'll never forget this. And I said, don't laugh at me because I'm going to tear up talking about this. But I'll never forget that little boy come out of that radiation room. And he was burned up with radiation. I'm talking about all over his face, down his neck. And he had a ball and a glove in his hand. And he was just throwing that ball back and forth in that glove. And he come over there, his parents come over and wheeled him by me. And I'm just sitting there. And I'm feeling sorry for myself at this point. Keep that in mind. And I'm worried about all my buddies at the river. I'm worried about all my buddies playing ball, and I'm stuck in Houston. And he wheeled over there by me. He had I'll never forget the name of the team. He had a green and orange hat on. It's called the Bullfrogs. I thought it was cool. And I asked him, I said, "Buddy, you like baseball?" He said, "Yeah, man, I like it." He was country than I am. Hard to do. He must have done from like Yazoo City or something. But he said, "Yeah, man, I like it." I said, "You any good?" He said, "Yeah, I ain't never missed an all-star season, but I think I'm going to miss this one." You're talking about a kid 9, 10 years old now. Ain't got no hair on his head, burning up radiation. Looked like he just popped out of a microwave. He looked at me. It's the only bad word I'm going to say tonight. But this is a quote. It comes from this kid. I said, "You any good?" He said, "Yeah, I ain't never missed an all-star. I ain't going to miss this one. But I'm going to tell you something. Buckers better watch out for next year. It's not coming." I'll never forget that. Because if it wasn't for that kid, I wouldn't have the mentality that I do now. Here's a 10-year-old kid, and I'm talking about he's 4 foot nothing. He's got way more fight than what I've got in me. I'm learning from him. He taught me that you can't never quit fighting, but there's always another day to fight for. So I came up with the Teen Zach Foundation. Now, St. Jude and all the other ones are great. They give a lot of money to research and all this stuff in order to cure cancer. That is fantastic, and I applaud everybody and encourage everyone to donate to them as well. Teen Zach Foundation doesn't do that. I believe a strong mental attitude, and this is my opinion, and nobody has to agree with me, but I believe that a strong mental aspect, what am I looking for? I done got hung up on the bullfrog boy now. I'm emotional, don't laugh at me. If you're strong mentally, you get through anything. And it proves true, because the third time I went through it, I was mad, and it was a breeze. And I can always look back and say, I did that. If anybody asks me, I get people all the time, I get thousands of messages a day on my Facebook. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about that? Well, I just got diagnosed with this. How'd you get through it? I said, you fight. Every day you wake up and you fight. But I can't tell that to a kid. I can't sit there and tell a kid that, hey, you got to wake up in the morning and kick its ass. I can't do that. Well, how do you motivate kids? Through toys. And the worst time that I can think of for a kid to be in the hospital is during Christmas time. So I don't care what they want is for their Christmas toy. I'm going to do my part, my self-inflicted part, on making sure that they have a reason to want to wake up for one more day. Because that's all I'm shooting for here is, think about it like this. This happened last year. There's a little girl named Tato. She was in my radiation group as well. She's about 6. She liked Legos. You could tell that she was beat down. I went and spent $680 on a Lego set. But when she got it, I brought it in that radiation room that next morning. The look on her face was unbelievable. She wanted to wake up the next morning. In her mind, she had something to fight for. And that's what this foundation is all about. That's why I started this. That's why all of you are here. If you didn't already know, yeah, we're going to drink some beer and get rowdy and have a good time. But we ain't going to lose the focus of what all this is for. I want to give kids that are battling this horrible, horrible sickness the absolute best Christmas that I can give them. I don't expect everybody to share my passion because you haven't seen it. But if you can only imagine the story that I just told you, it's 100 times worse. Y'all should have seen it in color, is all I can tell you. It's 100 times worse than that. This is 100% going to the kids. And that's on the website. We have a donation button on our website. For everybody watching at home, it's therealzachrushing.com. There is a donation button. If every one of my followers, if Zach Nation, every one of y'all will give $1 as a donation, that's over $750,000 that we can buy Christmas presents for these kids. It doesn't take much to change a life. And we're going in December. And I'm going to hand deliver these kids, these brothers. Now, some of them I can't go in their rooms. But all the toys are going there. They're going to have a good Christmas if I got to come out of pocket for it. I know I come off tough and a lot of stuff. I might drag some going away from the gas pump or, you don't never know. I might show up at a black barbecue. I ain't exactly saying that I'm done with that little adventure. And I'm damn sure we're going to be in the front row of every Disney movie that comes out. Don't get me started on how women think, because I ain't prepared to go into that yet. 6 or 7 more beers, y'all come on, we'll talk about it. But you're right, whoever said that, I'm not going to win that battle, but damn it, I promise you I'm trying. I'm not giving up. You got to never quit fighting. They got us outmatched. Me. I'm getting off topic, but you know where I'm going with this. We're going to do our part. Thank you, everyone at home that's donating, everybody that's here. Everybody that's supporting me and getting this done. Thank you to Ben Sanders and Magnolia Productions for putting this on for free for me. He donated his time and his equipment and everything. From the bottom of my heart, which is cold in a lot of places, thank y'all for helping me with my dream, with my mission to help these kids. I'll never be able to repay y'all, but all I can give y'all is my thanks. That's really all. I never felt more, just grateful in my life. Look out here and see all these people who share the same mentality as me. I'm not going to keep rambling. I am going to tell y'all one last time, thank you. I hope y'all have a great time tonight. We got the silent auction rolling. All the Triple B boys will be here. We got, and for every Triple B thing, increasing merchandise and hat, everybody wants to join the Triple B Nation tonight. All that will be donated. We got the gun raffle going. We got the donation on the website going. There's plenty of liquor and beer here, so y'all have fun. I appreciate it. I love y'all.